Hello, welcome to another episode of Make in India with Suhas Tejaskanda. As I promised, I am bringing you every time a different person, established person who is contributing for Make in India and ensuring a self-reliant India, an Atmanirbhar Bharat. As a part of this, today we have Sri Palanti Srinivas Garu. Welcome, sir. Welcome on the show. Sir, we are very honored to have you here today at the show.
Thank you.
I have heard a lot about you. I got to know about you from the Nagastra, which was recently launched, and you were quite successful in, doing the terminal guidance, the precision strikes, and I also heard about your story right from starting your career as a corporal in Indian Air Force to DRDO, building the Agni missiles, the control systems for the Agni missiles, to helping the dictator,
Gaddafi.
General Gaddafi, to Tata Advanced Systems, and now your own company URDL working on the control systems. If I'm not wrong, this should be the first ever working control systems on high performance aircrafts and a bigger aircrafts, I would say. Unmanned systems. So very proud, sir. Very proud of all your achievements. So how do you feel to be here at Make in India show?
Definitely, it is a very, very interesting. Thanks a lot for your this one to arrange this. Okay. Yeah, I started my career as a corporal in Indian Air Force, but that was for about 7 years. Then it was a big challenge to get out of Air Force because we sign a contract. It is not that easy. So only when you get a class 1 gazetted post job, then only you can be relieved on the spot.
Right.
So that is one big provision is there for all the service people. So I made every effort to make use of this particular opportunity to come out of the Indian Air Force and get into a class 1 job, which is DRDL as a scientist. Then I was a part of the initial IGMDP, Integrated Missile Development Program, headed by Dr. Kalam. And he was given 4 projects. Out of that, Agni and Prithvi were little major projects. Agni is a two-stage vehicle, first stage SLV and second stage Prithvi. So there was an MOU between.
So it is intercontinental ballistic missile.
Yes, ICBM. Yes.
Yeah.
So there was a MOU between ISRO and DRDO for a technology transfer. And the DRDO will position their manpower at Trivandrum, and ISRO will transfer the technology. So that was a MOU.
Okay.
So I'm very fortunate to get into DRDL at that time as a fresher. Then I was made one of the member of the technology transfer team from the control representative. So I've been to Trivandrum. Every year I used to stay there, get the whole SLV first stage completely integrated and tested. So it was a big, great opportunity to have an exposure from the scratch, development of a control systems and doing the integration and carrying out all the checkout. So that way it was I was part of the complete development life cycle of Agni, which ranged from 84 to 89, 5 years program. We could successfully fly the Agni in 89, May 89. So the first autopilot on this first project of DRDO, it was a great, remarkable thing for us. We all are given a special certificate from Ministry of Defence for the successful launch of Agni.
Sir, control systems for an aircraft or for an unmanned aircraft is like the brain. What inspired you to take up that particular autopilot control systems role? And can you just say our audience about your educational qualifications?
Yeah, I did my MTech in control systems from JNTU Hyderabad while I was working for DRDO, that is DRDL. Then it was my first autopilot design experience for a missile program. So whatever you read in theory, what you do practically, there will be a lot of difference. So, those are the days. There's no internet, there's no mobile phone, there's nothing else. Only the knowledge transfer is among the colleagues, maybe at the breakfast time or lunch time, nothing else. So you need to put a lot of effort. You need to struggle, not like today. Today, at the just press of a button, you have a lot of information available.
Yes.
So that your learning can be much faster. Your learning cycle will be very short nowadays. But those days, it was a very tough time. So autopilot, generally in missile, autopilot especially means only the control systems and the control algorithms.
Yeah.
So navigation, guidance, they're all separate domains altogether. If you say DRDL, we have a navigation department, we have got a control system department, control system group, and we have got a guidance department,
Yeah.
system department. But in a small UV programs, so we use the one word called autopilot,
Yeah.
which involves everything.
Correct.
So this is something new learning for me, because I, having done more than 20 years doing autopilot for missile programs, my mindset was autopilot means it is just the control system design, control algorithms to, especially for stability and control.
Correct.
But then for a small programs like all these drones, it includes everything, the whole flight software. It includes control algorithms, it includes navigation. So autopilot is a very multi-domain system. So it involves aerodynamic people, it involves control people, because they have to do the control system design for the platform. Then the software, you should have very, very strong in real-time operating systems and embedded software development, all those sensors. So it's a multi-domain system, and it really requires a team of a very multi-specialty team. So that's how having my background in Libya, worked in a individual capacity, I have to put my hands in all these areas. That's where I was a little rotten actually in these areas. So then back to India, I joined Tata Consultancy Services. Then there I was there for 10 years, and again I had a very good exposure in the industrial automation space.
Okay.
And I could have an opportunity to travel all over the globe, from west to east, from Japan, US, Denmark, and all these places. It was a good experience. So not only for I have physically worked on that. And I developed the solutions for all these automation solutions. And then Tassel. As far as these small drones, my first journey started in Tassel in 2016. Then Tassel, then JAS.
Okay.
Then now I thought I should establish my own company called URDL, so that I can develop the technologies from the ground up by leveraging my 4.5 decades of expertise in these areas, so that it can be useful for all the aspirant, UAV developers in the country, especially. Because I had I interacted many people during many expos like MATLAB. In Hyderabad also there was an expo. Everywhere I see that people are having a lot of into, but the ground fact is a little different.
Correct.
You can build the systems, you can integrate the system, things are available, they are very tempting.
Correct.
But when you want to make custom solutions.
I'm coming there, sir. Actually, today in this world where China is having a monopoly of most of the components in this sector, where in India, I'm sure 99% of the companies buy all the components and integrate it here.
Yeah.
I'm really not sure if somebody is at least trying to make an airframe development here. Control systems is a very far away thing for anybody. So, in such a price sensitive market like India, where people can get autopilot and audio pilot based platforms for just 15,000 rupees, as small as that, where they can just integrate and make a drone and fly.
Yeah.
Right? People have not yet started to build a serious systems here, wherein probably right from your Agni missiles from 2 Mach to 24 Mach speeds, where your such a system might need dedicated control systems. Correct? Like it cannot be like a random pickstock that is put onto a drone. So how do you see the competition? Because it takes crores together money to invest into R&D and develop such systems, and now you need to do a specific system for each and every aircraft. So how do you see yourself and the control systems that is developed by you? No, or in other words, I would say, why should a company prefer your costly system over a
Exactly. That's
15,000 rupee Pixar that is available?
That's true.
Yeah.
See, first of all, it is like an addiction. Using of Pixar is an addiction because it is easily accessible, and with the minimum effort, you can start in the morning. End of the day, you have a system, flying system.
Yes.
But that is not the end goal actually. So when you want to scale up your systems, going for a bigger platforms, then the safety criticality will come into picture. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, you need to thoroughly understand the system you are building in terms of the dynamics, in terms of modeling. So control system design itself there is a process involved. Your Pixar Autopilot is a platform. That is definitely, it is very useful for people like control guys, because I don't need to go around looking for some onboard computer developers.
Correct.
But the problem what happens is the Pixar is available with so much of code in that. Until unless a guy is a control expert, until unless he is also expert in C programming, until unless he is very good at a low level, device driver level, he will not be able to crack this.
Correct.
Number two, you need to have a close interaction with the aerodynamic guys. You need to model the aircraft, carry out the open loop performance and all that, then come out with the closed loop design. So it's not a PID, it could be anything. It's just a controller. It could be some filters, Lie-Glad filters, or it could be a model predictive control, or there are so many control techniques are there. PID is the only option when the system is not, it's a black box. Okay, so the question you're asking about URDL. So here I am not coming as a vendor of a autopilot. And Pixar is nowhere near to me, nowhere a competition. I am building a system which is OS based, and I am targeting an autopilot which should be compatible with like your UAV navigation or any other high-end products available in the market, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I am in the country. I am available to every UAV developers.
Yeah.
So I want to relieve them.
Correct.
At the low level headache of building a control system. So I'm not selling the autopilot. I'm selling autopilot. It may be a free of cost. It is a service. I'll come and join with your team, work in a collaborative mode.
True.
I will help you to model the system, come out with the control algorithms, do thorough simulations, whether it is a software in loop, hardware in loop. So I want you to spend 80% only in the lab. But today it is not like that. You just build it, rush to the field, fly it, some crash will happen, come back. And one more important thing I would like to state here when it comes to the cost you are telling. A Pixar may be costing 15,000 rupees. But say your Agni drone, for example. What is the cost at a minimum? 5 lakhs. You want to fly a 5 lakhs platform with a 15,000 Pixar. You have an established team. They are very good experts. I have no any doubts about it because I have developed such solutions with very great support from the pilots, UAV pilots. What happens at some 100 meters it has flown and suddenly fails and crashes? Now tell me, is in your team who can do a root cause analysis, pinpoint the issue, and mentally ready, they can convince you to go for the flight tomorrow.
But the question is, sir.
Now, URDL, this is where we are going to solve your problems.
Yeah.
We will be part of your whole development till you make your application completed. So, we will be supporting you in terms of designing the control system. We will support you integrating the system with your applications and hold the hands when people are flying it. And we will build all the fail safes to ensure the safety of your platform. And post-pattern, in case failure can happen, this is an aerospace system, failure can happen. If there is a failure, problem is not having a failure. Problem is not able to find a root cause analysis.
Correct.
So that's where URDL will play a role. So I don't think if you buy a product from the market, you will have this kind of a support.
Fantastic. Sir, when we started our bomber, we have got a lot of negativity around. A lot of people trolled us. People told It will not fly, it will not do this, it will not do that. Without knowing, people like you are all there behind such a project, prestigious project that's going on. My question to you is, sir, have you ever faced such a criticism? Because I will tell you why people are laughing at me is because in India we have never built an aircraft. And obvious question is that a person who is not even 30 years of age, 28 years of age, a guy without any money, how can he even build an aircraft which is not being done in past 78 years?
Correct.
Similarly, for me to build an aircraft, I need people like you who can design control systems. Now, did anybody from your ecosystem, say for example DRDO, HL or anybody, did they laugh at you when you left your IES job or when you left a DRDO, such a good position that you have left, and you told I'll develop this for the country, I'll develop to support the ecosystem? Have you faced any criticism, sir?
No, criticism means
Like I mean to say, any family members or say society, did you have any pressure about leaving your job,
a DRDL job. No?
DRDL or IES?
Yeah, that was a big challenge for me, and the highest risk anyone can take, because this is a UPSC job, class 1 job. In fact, maybe I got married by only looking at my position in URDL.
Okay.
But then I left URDL just after 2 years of my marriage. 84 I joined DRDL,
Okay.
86 marriage. So within 4 years I left. So that time the passion was like that. We want to do something, okay, on self, number one. Okay. Number two, in those days, nowadays it has become like a going to another city, but going outside the country, it was a, like you are born with a silver spoon in your mouth, that kind of a thing in those days. He's a foreign returned. They use the word foreign returned. Even if he just goes back to some Afghanistan and back also, he will be like a foreign returned.
Okay.
That was the kind of, so those days, that craze was there.
Yeah.
And in DRDL, what happened, it's a very interesting thing to say. When Agni launch failure happened, we are the guys, young guys, were pushed to Trivandrum to stay there, carry out all the testing, and come back when the whole nation is watching.
Yeah.
But when you purchase one product, a sensor unit from France, to test that one, the senior most guy, I should not say, goes there. So that time, all youngsters, we used to wonder, come on here, we are not getting a chance to go abroad. Because any abroad chance, our seniors will grab it for whatever reasons. So can we ever, in our lifetime, can we see, go outside the country? Because the craze was like that.
Understood. Yeah.
So then when we saw an opportunity like this, I thought, okay, let us. So took all the risk and jumped there. And it was a big experience. Doing on a solo drive for 14 years is not a simple thing.
Yeah.
It's a good experience, great experience. I could master the operating system, real-time operating systems to autopilot development. Trawling and all, yes, that should not be, because nowadays it has become very easy to just press a couple of
Keyboard
buttons.
warriors.
Keyboard warriors. That you don't have to worry about it. Even a project like Agni, these DRDO programs, failure or success did not come just overnight with a single flight or single venture. With your experience, definitely you must have a little underestimated. You must have told a thing which can, but then that comes with an experience. But anyway, you're spending money, you are investing, you are putting the effort. You don't have to care about others' comment as long as on these media.
True. Sir, I would like to touch upon few incidents that happened in your life.
Wow.
One such thing is, sir, I believe that India is blessed to have few people. India is blessed to have few people, like people who had integrity. One such man, I feel, is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the missile man of India. DRDO, HAL could have achieved lot more,
Yes,
but
definitely.
after he is gone, I don't see that energy.
I know.
It takes for one man to be the one man in charge to connect all the dots and keep the ball rolling.
Yeah.
So our missile game is very strong. I personally believe he was the guy who had that great vision for India. Absolutely. And one such man is required whom we are lacking today. Absolutely. Similarly, the aerospace industry is also not doing so well because there is no one such visionary leader is what I feel.
Yes.
Uh, you have been a part of the control systems team along with Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. It's a great honor to be with him.
Yeah, of course.
And can you share some incidents along with him?
Yeah.
And what happened in 1989 when Agni 1 failed?
Yeah,
I want to know from you.
yeah, it's really honor. If I know that he's going to become a president of India, I would have taken so many photos that time itself. It is very interesting. In the scientist hostel, when I reported to DRDL, scientist hostel, they give like a transit quarters till you make arrangement for your accommodation.
Yeah.
Of course, they'll give quarters for married people and all, but they're all big process, queue. It so happened my neighbor himself is Kalam only, Dr. Kalam.
Oh,
So I was not aware of that. Daily night up to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, the light will be on and somebody is reading all the literature. Because he goes through complete oral literature as far as the missile program is concerned. Okay. So it was a big honor to be working with, Dr. Kalam. And yes, in the 89, it was a very memorable thing. The first launch, 89, May 89. Already countdown started, aircraft, the missile is supposed to take off. Just the last countdown, we were there in the operations room, underground. It is the underground base of operations room where we have all the monitors to monitor the whole system. Today technology, those days there's a big difference. Now today you have everything, okay, internet, all those. Those days everything cable communication only. You have to have 1 kilometer. The launch will be over 1 kilometer distance. You have to underground cable and operations room. You have all the monitors. So one of our control guys just noted a small leakage in the control system valve.
hydraulic.
Then immediately reported and aircraft, the missile was stopped launching. So that time the whole nation was, already it has published in headlines, the whole nation is watching.
I was not born at that time, but I believe from New York Times to Wall Street Journal, everybody would have published bad about India, if I am not wrong. That we Indians failed in making a ICBM.
Exactly. This was media had been there means it would have been very. So Dr. Arunachal, he was the advisor at that time. He was in a fully drunken mood and trying watching, and it was a big shock. And the biggest shock is for the ISRO people because the first stage is there. So on the spot, an AN-12 was brought, first stage was removed. We are about 4 people, control representative, checkout, 1 mechanical guy, 4 people, along with Dr. Kalam. He came by flight. We are put inside this vehicle. Then the aircraft was put on the runway tarmac, and it was a pilot was sitting there.
Okay.
And 24/7, the walls are again manufactured, and we are the people to do the system testing and integration. Then within 1 week, we are back to the launch pad and launched. So all this 1 week, Dr. Kalam was sitting there only. So that is a close monitoring. That's how it we could recover back again. So that was a very great experience.
Okay. Fantastic, sir. Fantastic to know that. And also, I heard you were in Libya for a long time.
Yeah.
About 14 years.
14.
Like Ram ka Vanvas. You were you were in exile all the time in Libya, helping General Gaddafi. So, sir, did he ever ask you to keep the missile pointy?
No, we enjoyed. We enjoyed our stay. There is a lot of Indians. We have got one big Indian community. School was there. A lot of people working in oil industry.
Okay.
And a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses. And ours is a special group there, R&D group, Research and Development. It's a new group. So we have been treated very royally with all the accommodation and everything. That's what the director was, the welcome, this one speech was so fantastic. He said, we understand your Indian technology, scientists' capabilities. It's a great honor to have you people here. So from the day one, he has taken care, and that's how we could stay there for 14 years with families.
Have you ever had dinner or a cup of tea along with
Not Gaddafi, but with his son and minister level. Yes, of course. Because they come for a visit.
Also, I heard you have been advisor to their government.
That Ministry of
Defense.
One of the biggest memorable experience is I was demonstrating the hardware in loop simulation with a big projector and trajectory and all that. Then the minister directly asked, are your boss treating you? I said, yes, sir, everything is fine, but last year he promised me a car. I'm just waiting for it. He got stunned.
मौके पे चौका.
He said, Muhammad, Tale, come here. He came running. Whatever. What Palantir is telling? You did not give him a car. How come? Tomorrow, 10 o'clock, I want to see the keys in his hand.
Okay.
10 o'clock.
And it's General Gaddafi, so people have to
They
listen.
have got a big shipyard now. There will be so many cars in store.
Okay.
Next day,
Yeah.
that fellow comes and gives me the keys.
Otherwise, he would do this.
No, that's how you feel so much faithful to the organization. Feel like working, beyond your limits. I slogged. I did very interesting. It was.
Okay.
That people also very good, very friendly guys. Because what we were before going there, the kind of image we have. But after staying there, how come so many Indians are staying there? So many people are staying there happily for so many years, generations. It could not have been possible just like that.
And how was, your life at Libya when, the US was also trying to take hold of the country and
No, we are back. 2006, I was back.
you were back? Okay.
I joined Tata Consultancy Services.
Okay. I hope your missiles have helped them to some extent to defend themselves from US army.
No, they're poor in technology, unfortunately. They have so much of oil money. So that's how they are able to be very rich. After Kuwait, I think Libya is another very highest per capita income.
That's how it has been destroyed and
Must be. Naturally, if money is there, people will be there always.
yes. I would love to know your role in the recent Nagastra, which was given order for about 450 systems.
I see.
The precision strike that was achieved after a lot of attempts.
Yeah.
So it's a great honor that a company is doing it, but would also love to know the brain behind it. We have him here, and I would love to know your role and how you are able to turn it around in 2 months.
Before Nagastra, we have that in TASL also. Actually, my loitering munition project started in Tata Aerospace and Defense. It was a big opportunity I was given. Someone from Ministry of Defense only came and asked, you guys can do a loitering munition.
Okay.
I said, what, drone and this kind of weak structures and loitering munition, it is beyond imagination. If you look at the missile and all, their structure is different. The kind of propulsion they have is different. Here it is just, aerodynamics and going at a high speed and striking. How it is possible? It is, but I cannot say no on that. Then what happened? I had one very nice experience during my VTOL development. So I joined in 2016. Then the biggest challenge came is they have some framework of autopilot. But then the MD asked me, you should develop a VTOL. So first of all, a drone, the space itself is new to me.
Correct.
So I should learn how to run these 4 motors and how to make it fly. So we went to HMT and we are into crawling stage, trying dust, all those things. Then we developed VTOL. Within 1 year, I could develop a VTOL. Maybe I never heard at that time anybody else has come out with a VTOL solution, indigenous. Using Pixoc and all, that is different. You will just program it like you use like a set-top box. But here we have developed it completely.
Okay.
Then in one failure, it has from 100 feet, it came diving with a high speed. It came to as low as 4 meters.
Okay.
But we built a fail-safe on that.
So it got recovered.
It got recovered.
Ah,
Of
fantastic.
course, pilot was given that opportunity.
Okay.
So pilot can press the recovery button and it will all the 4 modes will trigger.
Yeah.
And it will convert into quad. Then he can happily land. That gave me all the confidence that why not? Though it's a failure, but I should make something useful solution out of this experience. So that's how the loitering munition acceptance came. I accepted that yes, we can do it. Because my only doubt was on the structure point of view. While coming at a speed of 40 meters per second, some motor should not come out, some arm should not break, structure should not fail. This is autopilot has nothing to do.
But it was made of composite, right?
Yes, composite.
Okay.
Then we started a first version in the Tassel, and it was almost 1 year slogging in the field. There's no shortcut for this. Go to morning at 10 o'clock, come night 10 o'clock, every day. Fly with different altitudes, with fail safe pilot. So then, when I went to Jazz, it was more of a repeating the same thing. Here the configuration platform is different. So, but it was, we have developed completely own autopilot,
Okay.
right from scratch. Only the sensor model is from outside.
Okay.
But it was a very good, satisfying solution there. This was my dream. I do something for the Indian services, like, So this is one dream coming true, I should say.
Okay. Fantastic, sir. And what did you showcase at Hanover Messe when you were part of Tassel?
Not Tassel, TCS.
TCS. Okay.
Tata Consultancy Services.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, in the Germany, every year they conduct industrial exhibitions.
Okay.
In TCS also is a very interesting thing. I joined TCS because of some control opportunity for ADA. That's how I was brought in as a consultant here, senior consultant. But then somehow the project did not click. So then I was like an orphan there. Then I started supporting embedded group. I was in the functional group. Then I had an opportunity to start working on industrial automation. So people started inquiring, can you do that, can you do that, all different solutions, automation solutions. In that process, Procter & Gamble is one very prospective customer who do all these BRAFOs. They got a very big plant all over Germany, US, even Cairo.
Of course, yeah.
Big plants, very big, massive plants. Oh God, the kind of automation, image processing technologies involved in that, it is superb.
Okay.
Because the diapher will cost you how much? Some 20 rupees. And you look at the manufacturing rate it will be in crores, millions of dollars. So how many diapers he has to sell to recover that amount? That means what should be the production rate of those diapers? So per minute, 140 diapers will come out. So that means the material, imagine the kind of material has to be brought. So the material they cannot keep the material there. Imagine a big bundle, maybe 100, 200 kg. They can keep only 2 in the production place. But in a day, they may be consuming more than 200. So where they will keep? They have to keep in the warehouse, and warehouse will be 2 kilometers away.
Yeah.
So manually bringing with the trucks and dropping and going, it is too much routine work.
Yeah.
So they were looking for an opportunity where TCS can develop such a vehicle.
Okay.
So as a proof of it to this Hanover Messe for a demonstration.
Okay.
We could have taken it up further, but the problem is it involves ecosystem. Somebody who has to build the vehicle, then we need to tie up with the vehicle manufacturers. So that's how they did not show much interest. Otherwise, if the customer had shown interest, then we could have done a great job in it. Because now with all your automation technologies, we can do wonders.
Fantastic. Sir, why is the name URDL?
The purpose of having this name is, there is a DRDL, where I came from, Defense Research and Development Lab, which is main focus is only on missile programs. So I thought URDL will be some similar lab of that caliber. Means that is my vision and mission, of course, to come out as a premier research organization like a DRDL, but focused on drones, UAVs. So UAV Research and Development Lab. So with this name I went to MCA, and now the name says so many 3 months of effort. The name was accepted. Then I started preparing document submission. Somehow it got delayed. They gave 20 days time. We got delayed. Our agency fellow got delayed. Then after 1 week we are late. So the documents were accepted. Then suddenly one mail comes from MCA saying that you need to revisit your name. You have to add some prefix or suffix. So to make this unique, but URDL as such is not available. Something like that one.
Okay.
I was literally this is all a mistake of these fellows, because they've already done all the name sets. I paid them money and all that. Then I was thinking, what prefix I want to add? I can add like a Palanti. I never wanted my family, my name or family, because I want this to be purely a technology oriented name. But what happens is in TASL, I have very nice colleagues and my friends. I used to work like a teacher and student. That kind of relation I maintained all these days, either in TCS or in TASL. So those my colleagues, they used to call me out of affection, Dronacharya, Dronacharya, D-R-O-N-E, Dronacharya.
Okay.
So I remembered that name. It looks like this seems to be.
Okay.
So I gave Dronacharya's URDL, UV Research and Development Lab. It has got cleared from MCA. Then I got the name approved, and 10th January I got the incorporation.
Oh, fantastic.
That was a small story behind the name.
Sir, one more question to you in connection to what you have told now is you left IES, a UPSC job. Then you left DRDL also. Yeah, where you worked on Agni type, Prithvi type of missiles. Now, there are so many people who, colleagues are your juniors, who have become chairmen of DRDOs. And also scientific advisor to governments.
Yeah, big positions, definitely.
Correct.
Yes.
So, did you ever regret that, why did I even leave this DRDO? Else I could have been in a cabinet rank position today. Did you ever feel, or were you ever power hungry, or how is it, sir? What have you got to say about it?
Yeah, that's really a very interesting question. See, first of all, I very strongly believe in going forward, whatever comes first. There is nothing like you have something, but you always you leave this and start looking for a bigger opportunity. That's how my whole journey started. Okay, definitely yes, I was doing good in DRDL. Absolutely, I was already in the good books of Agni project director himself. They used to call me. He is going to be the second in of his boss, who is my head of the department. So that kind of recognition is already there in DRDL, without any doubt. But the other side, today I would not have been talking if I had not left at that time.
Okay.
Because the kind of technology skills I gained, I always feel my technology skills at the age of 67, if somebody is talking to me, it is purely because of my technology skills. And these skills are gone in any organization, whether it is a DRDL, whether ISRO. If the guy spends more than 10, 20 years, afterwards he will bound to become more managerial. He will definitely not sit in front of the system. I don't think he will be ever coding. And because he has got people. In India, we have that advantage, That's the biggest advantage we have. Correct. For a small job, to assemble one code, you can hire 10 people, especially. Okay, so that kind of a situation we are. This gave me an opportunity to technologically to grow myself. One biggest challenge in Libya, as a single man army, I have to prove myself, because every year I need to sign a contract to stay there, otherwise I can be kicked if I don't prove there. Then came to TCS. Again, TCS also like a single man army. Then TASL also, it's like a single man army. Even Jazz also. So I'm able to survive all these things because of my technology strength, nothing else. Okay. Today I could do a loitering munition. So, okay, absolutely no. There's nothing like repenting. Okay. I could have become a director, but still, okay. Yeah. IS also, it's a very interesting thing. DRDL as a scientist and IS, I attended UPSC simultaneously in Delhi, just one day. First I attended IS, next day scientist. And the scientist offer came within 1 month. IS offer came after joining DRDL, after 2 years it came.
Okay.
So when IS offer came, I already 2 years I spent in DRDL as a scientist B. In next 2 years I am going to become scientist C. Whereas if I go to IS job, I had to go with the same scale of scientist B. So I'll be losing 2 years of my service number Seniority. 1. And also, as my boss sarcastically, he came to know that I got an offer. Sarcastically, he commented, "You want to become a classified clerk or what? This is an R&D organization." That was true. It is because of my R&D skills I could venture into Libyan program and all that.
Also, you would have regretted if you have gone into IAS, because you would have missed working with Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam.
That's true. That is absolutely true. Yeah. And that's more of a bureaucratic job. So you have so many people to work under you. And also, I got a job in All India Radio. My offer was in All India Radio.
Correct.
IS, because IS can, had I got in like a P&D, postal and telegraphy, that would be more better for electronics graduates. But I got in All India Radio. That's another discouragement factor. I said, All India Radio, kya karega? R&D here, at least missile programs. So I stayed here, and it is very, my Air Force, of course, in Air Force I had a very good foundation, technology wise, strong foundation was in Air Force, that I have to say.
Sir, we know that you have worked on Mach speeds, probably multiples of that, building the control systems. When you have worked for missiles, I'm sure it should not be a big deal for an aircraft. Now, when we talk about aircrafts in India, there are a few companies, I would say, which are doing really well. Like, for example, ZAS, they took your help, you have built a control system for them. But most of the companies today rely heavily on Chinese imports. How do you see this? And because, sir, I remember an incident when one of the government organizations wanted to procure 2,500 agriculture drones last year.
Oh God.
In 1 year, entire industry in India, the drone industry, could not supply 2,500 drones. Even today, the order is not met. So now tell me, because one particular variant of a propulsion system is changed by the Chinese, your DGCA is not allowing you to, supply the old system, and you're not getting supply also, the first thing.
Okay.
So which means any of the component from China is being stopped.
I know.
Industry in India is getting stalled.
That's true. That is.
Leave about agriculture, sir.
Yes,
What about defense? So there is an attack from your enemy,
Yes.
similar to what happened in Israel, right? It was Iran, but we have a neighbor who is 1,000 times of Iran, more powerful. Something like that is there. We don't have systems in place. So when we are relying heavily on China like this and can't make even 2,500 drones in the entire year, where are we heading, sir, in this country? And what have you got to say?
No, I think it is possible. I don't think that should be a challenge. As you said, we don't have any limitations in terms of the experts, technical expertise. There is no problem.
No, there are fantastic people with fantastic knowledge.
Knowledge
But when it comes to the execution level, we don't have a company which is building subsystems in India.
Yeah, exactly. That's where. No, this is all number game again. See, for example, you take a propellers, your drone propellers. Until unless there are buyers, that guy will not be able to set up a factory. So that's how actually what happened. All the aviation was very much confined to government labs only. There is no research lab in the country privately owned.
True.
Because of these problems.
No, but why, sir? See, we have a lot of money in India. It's not that we are a poor country. And when we talk about countries like Iran or Turkey, when they were able to do it in less than a decade, and the two countries which were bankrupt, had no money on R&D, could pull off with Shaheds and Bayratkars, why is that in India we are not able to make one male aircraft properly?
This is what one of the MATLAB expos I was asking on a QGC director, I think, he's a quality control director. The problem what happens is, you may have money, you can build a drone, but where are you going to fly?
Exactly.
So where is the money? So that means you need to buy 100 acres land, is it, for developing a. So that means gone.
Now,
Private startups, the enthusiastic people like us.
Yeah.
Why I started only, why I don't want to get into drone business, purely because I don't have that much money to own a big open land for doing the flights.
True. Okay. Sir, I will tell you one small example on what you told. Today to fly this bomber, what is right behind you, we have to wait for a long time to get a slot, because there is one test bed which is owned by DRDO today.
Yes.
At Chitradurga Aeronautical Test Range.
Correct.
And if I have to do some tests, I have to go there, because as a startup, I don't have money to buy 100 acres or 200 acres.
Absolutely.
And I don't have a runway available.
This is one of the biggest discouragement.
And government, I feel, should also look at what people are actually doing and support the startups, because 20,000 rupees
this
per hour.
This is a major support, until unless major support, because especially for aviation industry, it is really impossible for a private ownership to, they can build lab, they can have a lab, you can employ 100 people, very easy to do. That much money you may be having it. But definitely, how are you going to test it?
Correct.
So these test trains you cannot afford.
Correct.
And even I used to, when I was working earlier in Dazzle and all, we used to travel 80 kilometers daily.
Correct.
And that much travel expenditure, what is the testing expenditure? That is a very huge.
Huge.
So that's why these things were very much confined to only government organizations. So definitely when you say private entrepreneur, until unless that kind of facilities are available, building drones of any number is not a very big deal. We should be able to do it.
Correct.
But the problem is the ecosystem, very.
100%.
So this is one of my motivation to come out with URDL. At least I want to join hands in this ecosystem and do what are best from the building of an autopilot. Not just selling an autopilot product like a Pixoc, giving a support.
Yeah.
Be giving a support to enable all the developers to build their solutions and minimize their flight time, testing time. Because see, for example, if I test everything in the lab for you, and I will say you just do me only some 10 flights, rest all I will do in that. Rather than doing 100 flights to maturity, that will be more expensive. Okay, so that way I want to add value to the development. Okay. So minimize, focus on the similar. Like for example, missile programs. Where is the question of testing them in the field? There is no question. They're all fire and forget. So once you press the trigger, finish over. Whether it's working or not working, again you have to build another system. That will be too expensive.
True.
So we go with hardware in loop simulation up to an 80% of qualification, confidence level. Then the remaining 10 or 20, the gap will be there that we need to go to the field. Same thing when you are going for a bigger class like this aircraft.
Yeah.
Please don't go to just like that flight.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Spend a lot
Until
of time
unless
on
it
lab.
is signed by all the stakeholders that hardware in loop simulation is satisfactory, then only you should go to the field.
Correct.
So you spend maximum time only in the lab.
True, sir.
And don't have to pay unnecessarily runway charges. Invest less on that.
True.
Okay, because this requires a lot of money for your testing. So minimize that. That money you spend it for simulations team. Simulations will build your simulation lab, and people are there.
True.
So that way we can improve your productivity definitely.
Sir, since you worked with DRDO, DRDL, I have a question and I want a suggestion also for that. Sir, now to fly this aircraft, this is a 5-meter wingspan aircraft and we are also doing a 10-meter wingspan aircraft, 1:2 scale. Now to fly this aircraft itself, I need a huge runway.
Yes.
Now the runway from DRDO is being charged at 20,000 rupee per hour
Oh God.
for any startup.
So that means gone.
Plus hangar charges separate, technician charges separate. You have got to pay around another 3,000 to 5,000 rupees extra
I see.
on all other expenses. Say roughly it is coming up somewhere about 23,000 to 25,000 rupees plus GST. Right? Now, if I have to go for a Similac certification, I have to have some 300 hours of flying. How do you think a startup can do a 300 hours of flying at your 25,000 rupee price? Point number one.
It doesn't sync up.
Second thing is, sir, you will be given the slot or the preference only after their particular projects.
Correct. Again, time. Here both time and money.
Time. So, startups are known for agility. They work very fast, unlike government organizations.
Of course.
Now, I know, Vande Bharat speed, I do my research and development and make a prototype.
Finish break.
And like a goods train, I am halted for like
Big
3
break.
months, right? Until I get a slot. They say private sector is always given the second preference. Now, as a startup, where is the government support to a startup which wants to do something in the aviation industry? Small drones people buy, assemble and then fly it here.
Absolutely.
But when it is about runway system,
Yeah.
is DRDO not funded? I heard there are thousands of crores allotted for every project. I am seeing the budget, CAG reports, and I am saying this. I am not assuming it.
Okay.
Is DRDO in such a stage where it can run only with the rentals that is collected on the runway? Or if I am going to fly this, I am doing it for the country,
I know.
for the armed forces.
Yeah. Otherwise, who will buy this?
Yeah. If I am going to run this on their tarmac, is there any loss for DRDO?
No, you approach DRDO directly or through governmental channels?
DRDO directly. So there is a provision where you can apply for the test bed
Okay.
and you will have to pay per hour charge. And for that also you need to go through a lot of
I see.
cycle, whatnot. So now, how do you think the industry will evolve? A startup, how do you think will evolve?
This is why we are lagging actually.
Yeah.
Because either the existing organizations, they should focus on, because the drone is going to be the future, should say. The kind of dependency created by internet, the kind of dependency created by mobile phone,
Yeah.
the drone is going to create in another decade or so.
Correct.
You will think a life without a drone is not a life.
Correct.
So if that, because everywhere it is required. Now all your agriculture field, you will see only drones. You will not see any farmer struggling, sweating, spending whole day and the zero productivity. You think about emergency medicines, life saving. We have given one small demo to Apollo, during TASL. So that time itself they are showing a lot of interest, about 5 years back, that for any life-saving medicines should be immediately. So, but the problem is, for all this, we need a lot of government rules and regulations that DGC has come out with. So these things are still, we are slow in that. Maybe I don't know when these things will be, but definitely it will take some time.
Yeah, and second question is, there are companies which can afford this, right? 100 acres, 200 acres is not a big problem for companies like, say, Reliance, Adani, or some big companies. Tata, for example.
But it must be expensive, right?
Yeah, and I'm happy that Tata has at least put some money into R&D, and with the TASL, they were at least able to achieve something like a 50 kg class VTOL. Now, why is that? Nobody is able to build a decent sized unmanned aircraft or an aircraft within the country.
No, as you said, this is only the reason.
No, sir, for big companies who can afford, like Tata's.
Again, that's what. Again, there has to be one strong control guy have to be there. With Pixar, you cannot fly such a big aircraft.
Correct.
You have to build your own autopilot. When you say autopilot, you must have at least some aerodynamic people have to be there on board. You should have some structural fellows. You have got a couple of fellows, control guys. That too with earlier some autopilot design experience. And field experience also will add a lot of value, because you cannot go and crash this, especially in a private entrepreneurship. Okay, maybe one or two maximum one can afford of this class.
Correct.
As you start showing more and more crashes, he will start becoming panic, get into a panic mode. But this will not happen in other government organizations. If Agni fails, nothing, absolutely no problem. Second trial, they will be getting ready.
Correct.
They will do the root cause analysis. But with that same motivation here, you will not be able to go.
Exactly.
So that difference will be there.
For a startup, you see, sir, if you are delayed by 2 months, if you are denied the slot for 2 months because of various reasons,
I know.
suppose say I am burning about 1 crore in a month.
Yes.
Now I am grounded for 2 months.
No.
Now my cost is going up by 2 crores.
Absolutely.
Why will I maintain the resource for doing nothing?
You will be sweating.
Yeah.
One day delay. Suppose I myself, when I see a small problem, I got stuck up. I not invested anything.
Yeah.
But I have a target. I feel I must finish in 2 weeks. I should finish one solution.
And investors are behind you like, the Vicky Vetal. Where is the money? Where is the money? Where is the return? And you're not able to deliver because you don't have a runway.
I think this is definitely the burning problem, I should say. This is
and then I feel, see, for example, wind tunnel. How many wind tunnels have we got in India? Where are we going to? Some Orange Labs, I heard they have got one, and some IT Kharagpur
this is exactly the same situation. When I joined the TASL, I was wondering where these people are doing the wind tunnel, how they get the model of this aircraft. So many doubts I had. But it took some time for me to digest that drone space has a different challenges, different problems altogether. Your missile have a different, there's a domain, different space, your aircraft. So every domain has its own domain-related, domain-specific challenges. One challenge is definitely the testing space, which is the biggest discouragement for a private entrepreneur. There is no doubt about it. Until unless this is solved, you don't expect 2,500 drones to be coming in a month. How much time you are saying?
In 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah.
1 year, 2,000 come on. If you cannot do that, we are not that state. We have done a rocket to Chandrayaan and 2,500 drones you can't do.
Exactly.
That is definitely. So there is something,
Yeah.
some gap is there.
As you were telling, every domain requires its specific requirements.
Yes.
Like VTOL has a different requirement, quadcopter has a different, multi-rotor has a different requirement.
Even a small
Similarly,
toy has its
Yeah.
own, this one.
while we were able to have Chandrayaan, Gaganyaan, Mangalyaan, we are not able to make a small drone in India. That's the irony. Right? It's not that
We are not
we don't
make-
have good resource, it's not that we don't have money, but
Yeah.
we're not able to sync both. That's
Sync.
the problem in the industry. And with all this, sir, the problems that we have today, and also with the lot of negativity for calling out, saying the bold statements like this, that government should not have done this, government should do this. Instead of taking it as a constructive criticism, people blamed me Chinese because I have this small thing and I look like a Chinese. And people named me anti-Indian. So,
I see.
in fact, openly say I have given my vote for Modi ji only, but right wingers got so much offended. I don't know for what reason. Sir, you have worked with Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, a great man. You have got the opportunity to be so close to him, being in his team. I'm sure you would have learned a lot of things from him. How is he different from all other scientists in DRDO and DRDL or ISRO? Have you already noticed that this man is going to become the president or so is such a big personality?
Definitely. No, I can talk about him on an absolute merit, not relative merits, because I have not opportunity to relatively evaluate any other scientist. On absolute merits, my very reporting itself was a very, very highly impressive. So I had my offer letter. Then I need to join DRDL. Then somebody said, go and meet the boss. So he's nothing other than Kalam himself.
Okay.
So he is sitting in his room. So I said, may I come in, sir? Yes, please. Then he asked me to sit down there. So by the side of him, there is one, he's an administrative, all big designations, no? He's the director of administrations for DRDL. And he so happened to be an army officer, retired army officer. Maybe some major or general, I don't know. He's an army officer. So he is sitting by the side of him. And I gave my offer letter to Dr. Kalam. Then he asked me to sit down and started asking questions. Okay, so what is your background? Electronics communication. Very good, he saw that one. Okay, so which is the area you would like to work? So there is no, so far I never seen, of course in private industry, forget about all these things. In a government industries, a person of a director, of course he's not a president at that time, definitely, he's a head of a department, head of a lab actually, full lab. So he started inquiring about what is your area interest, whether it's a managerial or technical, like that, some kind of a thing. Then while he was talking to me, suddenly this gentleman just poked his mouth. Because I came from Indian Air Force. He's from army. I did not want him to give his comments actually. He was telling, sir, as per his background, I think he will best fit in project like that. He was telling, I have no clues about what is a project, what is a control department. I have no clues about the organizational setup. But whatever it is, since it has come from another guy who is not directly related to me, because if Kalam has asked me, things would have been different. Suddenly my body language looks like changed without my knowledge. Maybe I must have put a very awkward face. Then he has immediately spotted that.
Okay.
Then immediately said, looks like he is not interested in that. Okay, better you do one thing. I will send you to control department because you have done a control systems. You be there, work for 1 week. If your boss is accepting you, you stay there. Otherwise, I will send it to Agni project. That's it. I went there and that's it. That was my permanent position in control. Within 4 days, boss has told, no, this fellow will stay here only. He will not go anywhere.
Okay.
So that is the real very managerial skill. That is number one. Number two, whenever he comes to office, first of all, he will make sure that he will visit all the workshop guys. He will wish everybody before he goes to his cabin. So that level of low level interaction he maintains. And everybody feels great about it. Okay. I have seen here, I don't want to mention, in my experience, other than the DRDL or even Libya, I never seen any big shots. The MD of a company or CEO of a company, even a consultant like me, coming, even he comes to the lab, coming and shaking hand, how is going on, what is going on. There is no such handshake. So you don't feel ownership of the company. You feel you are an employee. Anytime you can be kicked, anytime thrown out. So there, it's like a family bonding. You feel crying. When you want to leave the lab, you feel crying. Other people will be crying. But in private organizations, it is not like that. They'll be immediately congratulating. The moment you say, I got an offer in so and so, first thing they will do is congratulations. Okay, that is number 2. Number 3, I don't know whether it's a good or bad, but generally what happens, we used to have every monthly once the big meeting, all the scientists gathering will happen. When all this gathering happens, he will make the heads of the department to be on the dais.
Okay.
He will open the forum for all the youngsters to throw their problems.
Okay. This is interesting.
And these people openly, they talk about their head who is sitting right on the dais. He has no hesitation to shout at the boss in front of these people.
Oh, he used to shout, Kalam?
And ask him to explain. That no boss will have that much guts to do that.
So Dr. Kalam was always very pleasant personality that we have seen outside.
No.
But was he scolding people?
Of course, definitely. So what's happening, when it comes to the work, if somebody is right, he will appreciate that one.
Okay.
Doesn't matter whether you are sitting in front of the boss or not. So he'll not hesitate. But generally what happens, no, if I say your boss may feel bad, that goody relations will not make any progress. This is what is happening in the private.
He was sincere.
People want to keep goody relation and finally they'll be at the cost of a
Project is dumped, yeah. True.
At the cost of the project. This is the biggest experience I have
True.
all these years working in a private industry.
100%, sir.
Because they're brought from a lateral entries. So you will bring some lateral entries. He will try to always please you. He will not listen to Pallanti. Okay, he may be quite junior to me. These are all challenges which you have to accept. If you are a private entrepreneur, you need to understand this dynamics.
Nowadays, I also feel working in a PSU, in a director position. I have heard this from one of the chairman, managing directors of defense PSUs, one of the biggest defense PSUs. Working for a PSU in a managerial role or a director role or a chairman role is the toughest thing, because you have got pressure from the government on your targets. Secondly, you don't have any control over your subordinates.
I see.
Because some will say I will go to SC cell, some will say I will go to women's cell, some will say I will write a complaint on you, I will do a sexual harassment case. And this fellow sitting in managerial position is not able to talk anything because he is scared and he can't even report anything to his seniors. He's stuck in between. This is what I got to hear. Is that true, sir?
Must be.
So, I mean, there are unions everywhere in government sectors. I feel these are some places where there is a lot of constraint.
I know.
Where, if boss strictly asks somebody to deliver a job, he is being falsely implicated into various other charges.
I know, yes.
Now, a lot of ego, self-respect among people has suddenly come up in India. So, I feel that is one of the biggest reasons why PSUs are not able to deliver what they have to deliver. Sir, the main intention of this show is to bring people like you who are actually contributing to the country, contributing for the ecosystem to be built here.
Yes.
On the lines of our Prime Minister, I personally, like his vision of Make in India. And what I thought is, instead
Not
of
make in India, I feel we should be made in India.
Made in India, exactly, made in India.
Make in India is little away. Means you are buying still things, but some things you are making
100%, yes.
But why not made in India?
Made in India.
I need a drone made in India.
Made in India, right. This intention of this particular show is to showcase unsung heroes like you who have been behind the screen always and have not shown the face. And sir, we promise a lot of visibility for great people like you who have contributed a lot to the country and still doing it. And to all the viewers, we will be bringing up in every episode people like you who are really contributing for the ecosystem.
No, definitely.
And
It's
for
a
the
very
true made in India.
Sure, definitely. I wish you
Jai
all the
Hind.
best.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to be with you, to have you on the show.
Thank you.